Part 16.
The air outside was cool, with the faint scent of damp earth from the afternoon rain. Rafe leaned against the porch railing, his phone pressed to his ear, his eyes scanning the quiet street like he was reading a map only he could see. On the other end, a deep voice spoke. Serena's dad. What's happening there? Anything unusual? Rafe's gaze drifted to the far end of the street. Not much. Just a black van pulled up once before. Didn't stay long. Could have been nothing. There was a pause. And? Rafe's jaw tightened. And? I think I've found the mole. Not 100% sure yet. I want proof before I say the name. The man's tone dropped. Colder now. Okay, don't forget. If you need anything, bodyguards, weapons, say the word. I'll send them. And Rafe. There was a rare softness in the voice. Thank you again. You've sacrificed more than enough for Serena. More than I could ask of anyone. Rafe's eyes flickered, but his voice stayed steady. No need to thank me, sir. She's my wife and I will do everything to protect her. A long silence passed, then the call ended. He stayed there for a moment, watching the shadows stretch across the street. The neighborhood was too quiet, the kind of quiet that didn't soothe him, but set every instinct on edge. He entered inside the house. From inside the room, a faint voice carried through the door. Serena. Yeah, we got here fine, she was saying, her tone light, almost casual. Then another voice. Nina's. Are you sure? You sound tired. Rafe's gaze sharpened as he moved close to the door. Serena's words blurred into the background. Noise when he heard a sound from outside as his attention snagged on movement. He slowly moved to the window. A slow, deliberate roll of tires over asphalt. A black van. The same van that appeared in front of their house before. It can't be a coincidence. It turned into the street without hurry, its headlights dim, creeping along as if the driver was sightseeing. But Rafe knew better. He'd seen this before. His lips curled, but not in amusement. You really are dumb, Nina. The van eased to a stop a few houses down. Curtains shifted in its tinted windows. Bingo, he murmured almost to himself. Inside, Nina's voice was still drifting from the other room. Serena replying without suspicion. Rafe didn't interrupt. Instead, he crawled to avoid them from detecting any movement. Then he reached his jacket on the couch, fingers curling around cold steel. The gun was already loaded. It always was. But the sound of the slide clicking into place was still satisfying. He smiled then, not warmly but with the sharp, slow grin of a predator that had finally cornered its prey. Found you. Then suddenly the black van slowly moves away. That night, after the black van incident, and how Serena ended the conversation, the air between them feels different. Rafe is outside in his calm, watchful self-checking windows, looking around the house for any traces of any hidden device or camera, and any trace of someone's footsteps. Serena, she can't stop noticing. Even though their conversation didn't really end well last night, she still can't forget what he said yesterday about loving her. As the hush of wind brushing against the window panes, Serena sat stiffly at the small table with a cup of tea, pretending to read the newspaper Rafe had left. Then he came in. She smelled him before she saw him. Clean soap with a trace of cedar, sharp and grounding. When he sat beside her, not across, the sudden closeness made her pulse skip. She shifted slightly, hoping he wouldn't notice. Window latches loose, Rafe muttered, leaning forward to check. His shoulder brushed hers as he reached, his body heat close enough to stir the fine hairs on her arm. Serena froze, eyes locked on him in front of her, though she hadn't read a word. You could have told me to move, she said quickly. I didn't need to, he replied, calm, distracted by the lock. His steady tone only made her heart pound harder. Later, when he passed her a fresh cup of tea, his hand brushing over hers in the exchange, her fingers tightened so much she nearly dropped it. Careful, he murmured, steadying the cup with his hand touching hers. The brief press of his skin sent a rush of heat to her cheeks. She jerked back too quickly, muttering, I wasn't going to spill. Rafe only hummed in response, as if unaffected as he sit across from her. That infuriating calmness made her more flustered. She needed to distract herself. Anything but the awareness crawling up her skin. So, she blurted, setting the cup down harder than necessary. How can you afford a place like this? Must have cost a fortune to rent. Rafe glanced at her, then at the room. His answer was simple. I don't rent. I own it. Her head snapped toward him. You what? I bought it years ago. Serena. Liar, how? Rafe. Investments, some side work. He spoke like it was nothing, but Serena stared, stunned. She'd grown up in wealth, yet somehow she'd never thought of Rafe having his own. He was just her father's quiet shadow, always there, always reliable. But now, you actually worked? She asked before she could stop herself. His mouth curved faintly, not quite a smile. Of course, I went to school. What did you think? Stand around waiting for your dad to call. She flushed. I didn't mean it like that. You never said anything. You never asked, he said simply. The words lingered between them, heavier than she expected. To cover it, she started asking him small questions. Which college he attended, what he studied, what kind of investments, how long he'd been doing it. She told herself it was curiosity, but deep down, she wanted to know more about him. By evening, Serena was exhausted from the restless night before. She tried to sit on the couch, insisting she was just closing her eyes for a moment, but sleep pulled her under. When Rafe came back from checking the locks again, he found her sleeping on the couch, her head resting awkwardly against the pillow. For a moment, he just looked at her. Her hair had fallen over her cheeks. Her lips parted slightly in sleep. She looked vulnerable in a way she never let herself appear when awake. Silently, he bent down and slipped an arm another around her and lifted her, her head unconsciously falling against his chest. He carried her into the small bedroom and laid her gently on the bed. For a moment, he lingered, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. Then he straightened, his expression back to unreadable steel, and quietly left the room. The garden was quiet, except for the faint rustle of leaves. Rafe stood near the edge, eyes fixed on the narrow road, where the black van had once parked. Nothing. No movement, no sound. He'd been out here long enough for the night air to turn cold. But still he waited, muscles taut with patience that was wearing thin. This waiting game had dragged on too long. Whoever was behind it, whoever kept. Sending shadows and vans and moles was clever, but not clever enough. Rafe clenched his jaw. He was tired of playing defense. It was time to draw them out and end it. The next morning, the tension still sat in his chest. He joined Serena at the small table for breakfast. She was lazily stirring her tea, her hair loose around her face, looking as though she hadn't fully woken. Rafe studied her in silence, then finally asked, So how long have you known Nina? Serena blinked, surprised. Nina? Since I was 19. Why? Just curious, Rafe said evenly. Where did you meet her? Piano class. She was new. I helped her adjust. Why are you asking? Rafe's tone was calm, too calm, and Serena's suspicion instantly sparked. She narrowed her eyes at him. Wait, are you interested in Nina? Rafe raised a brow. What? You are, aren't you? She shot back, her voice sharper. You've already got your mistress. Now you're eyeing my friend. Mistress? Rafe interrupted, his voice suddenly low and sharp. What mistress? Serena folded her arms, trying to look confident even though her heart was hammering. Don't play dumb with me. I saw the bracelet, the diamond one, in your room. For the first time that morning, Rafe smiled, not mocking, but slow and knowing. So that's what you thought, he said quietly. Don't act like you don't know. She huffed, suddenly flustered. It was obviously a gift for some woman. He leaned forward, his eyes steady on hers. "You're right. It was a gift, but not for a mistress." Serena frowned. "Then who?" "You," he said simply. "It was meant for you. A wedding gift. I was just waiting for the right time to give it to you." Her breath caught. For a moment she just stared at him, heat rising in her cheeks before she forced herself to scoff. "Liar. You're saying that just because I caught you." Rafe's smile widened slightly. He reached forward, sliding her plate away as he leaned closer. Their faces were inches apart now, his voice dropping to that low, steady tone that made her stomach twist. "You really think I'd waste my time on another woman? When you're already too much for me?" The words hit her harder than she wanted to admit. She froze, staring at him, searching his face for any sign of teasing, but all she saw was calm sincerity. And maybe something deeper. Her cheeks warmed, and she hated the way her pulse betrayed her. "Why you?" she stammered, then quickly looked away. "You're impossible," she muttered. Rafe leaned back again, satisfied, but his eyes lingered on her. He'd caught it, the faint blush she couldn't hide, the way her hands tightened around her teacup. For once, Serena didn't fire back. She stands up and walks away, pretending to be unaffected while inside her thoughts tumbled. All this time, he hadn't been looking elsewhere. He'd been looking at her. And Rafe, watching her closely, realized something too. No matter how loudly she denied it, she wasn't as indifferent as she pretended. Later that day afternoon, Serena is sitting on a couch in the living room, scrolling through her phone, her mind looping endlessly over what Rafe had said. He got the bracelet for her as a wedding gift. And all this time she thought he has a mistress somewhere. She clenched her hands tighter. How was she supposed to keep thinking about revenge, when every time she thinks about him, her heart did this strange, and everything he says and the things he do make her flustered. She shook her head. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm supposed to hate him. Besides, he might be lying, who knows? Her thoughts were cut off when the sudden ring of the doorbell echoed through the quiet safe house. Serena blinked, startled. Nobody should know they were here. Slowly, she rose to her feet and tiptoed toward the door. "Who's there?" she asked cautiously, her voice low. Before she could get an answer, Rafe came charging out of the bathroom, water still dripping from his damp hair, a towel tied around his waist and his gun in hand. His robe swung loosely. "Don't open it," he said firmly. Serena stands in front of him, speechless, unable to speak. Her cheeks flushed. It was like the time stopped, while Rafe calls her out and scans her face for signs of fear. Serena's heart jumped not at the danger, but at the surreal sight. For one terrifying moment, her imagination betrayed her, flashing back to her dream. "It's more beautiful than my dream. That beautiful body." She froze, drooling. Rafe noticed instantly, patting her head thinking she's scared. "Serena, are you okay? What happened?" Then she snapped out of it. "Yes, I'm fine. Nothing happened." Then he pulls her behind him, holding her hand as he raised his gun toward the door. The bell rang again. "Who is it?" Rafe called out, his voice cold, commanding. For a tense moment, silence stretched. Then a cheerful voice broke through. "Good morning. Sorry to bother you, I'm your neighbor across the street. Just wanted to invite you to the recreational event we're hosting tomorrow. Lots of couples will be there. Fun activities, games. Thought you might like to join." Serena blinked, staring at his hand holding hers. Rafe lowered his gun, his jaw tightening. Without opening the door slightly, he replied in his clipped, no-nonsense tone. "No, not interested." There was a pause. "All right, no problem. I'll just leave a flyer here." The footsteps faded. He exhaled sharply, tucking his gun away as he turns to Serena, asking her if she's okay and why she was like that earlier. Serena just brushed it off, telling him she's fine. He turns to check who knocked through the window as he mutters under his breath about nosy neighbors as he walks away. But Serena stands there staring at her hands, then suddenly something caught her attention. Curious, reached out and picked up the flyer that was slipped through the door. Her eyes widened. It wasn't just any community event. It was clearly a couple's retreat-style gathering, picnic tables, games for pairs, even a silly three-legged race advertised on the paper. And most importantly, what caught her attention, her role model is going to be there. Jenny Clones. She pressed her lips together, hiding a smile. This could be an opportunity to meet her fave. When Rafe returned to the kitchen, still drying his hair, Serena set the flyer down. "We should go." He froze, towel halfway through his hair. "No." "Why not?" she asked almost innocently. Rafe sighed, already anticipating the headache. "Because it's public. Because it's unsafe. Because we're not here to socialize, Serena." Her eyes softened dramatically, and she tilted her head, adopting that pitiful look she knew annoyed him. "So what? You're going to lock me inside this house forever? No friends, no fun, no sunlight." Rafe pinched the bridge of his nose. "That's not what this is about." She leaned closer across the counter, lowering her voice in mock seriousness. "It's exactly what it feels like. Are we going to stay indoor forever?" His head snapped up, eyes narrowing, but she only smiled sweetly. "I know it's dangerous. But come on. After I see Jenny Clones, we can leave. I promise I'll stick right beside you the entire time. I will wear my wig and sunglasses. It will be like an undercover mission. And once we see my fave, we can come back. Besides, I know you will protect me, so there's nothing to be worried about. It won't take time." With a mischievous grin, "Please, we can even tie our hands together, if that makes you feel safer." Rafe stared at her. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, against his better judgment, he muttered, "You're impossible. Is that a yes?" She pressed, eyes sparkling. He exhaled through his nose, defeated. "Fine. But if anything feels wrong, we leave. No arguments." Serena's smile widened, triumphant. She gave a small laugh, light and genuine. And in that fleeting moment, Rafe found himself caught just watching her. The way her laughter lit up her whole face. The way her eyes crinkled like she'd forgotten, even briefly, all the fear surrounding them. For the first time in a long while, she looked happy. Rafe's chest tightened unexpectedly, and he had to turn away, covering it with another dry remark. "Don't get too excited. We are going back home when we get back tomorrow." But Serena was already walking toward her room, hand on her chin, thinking about what to wear. "Too bad I didn't bring my expensive outfits. Guess I'll have to impress you in something casual." Rafe stood there, towel in hand, caught off guard. He didn't move until her door closed, the echo of her laughter still hanging in the air. And for the first time in days, he wasn't thinking about black vans or moles. Who's Jenny Clones? He thought, and how dangerous it was becoming. How easily she could disarm him, without even trying. The event. The next afternoon, Serena wears a simple outfit and her fake wig, obviously not here for the fun, but to meet her role model. She looks all excited while Rafe stands beside her. Serena's camera hung on his neck after she has forced him to hold it, saying he doesn't know how lucky he should be to take picture of a star. Even though she begged him into this, promising she'd stay by his side the whole time, and just meet Jenny Clones. He looked like he'd rather chew glass than spend the day, mingling with strangers and meeting her fave. As she looks at him, "You know," Serena said lightly, "normal people smile when they go out." "I'm not normal people," Rafe replied flatly, eyes flicking across the crowd. "And we're here to see your Jenny. And because you wouldn't stop nagging." She gave him a look, then turned away quickly before he noticed her grin. As she runs forward, "Let's go find my fave," she shout happily. But in truth, she wasn't just here for fun though. She desperately needed a distraction from the nightmares and the paranoia. Though the main reason is because of her fave, who is viral online for his fashion sense. He was attending. A perfect chance to take a picture and finally post on her new account to get more followers. Even if Rafe never understood that side of her, Rafe followed a half step behind her, broad shoulders tense. He scanned rooftops, watched reflections in windows, counted every unfamiliar face. To everyone else, he looked like a man dragged by his girlfriend to an event he couldn't care less about. But Serena knew better. He was calculating every possible exit, She sighed, holding up a flyer and pretending to pout. Since we are here to find Jenny, we have to at least look like we want to be here. You're ruining the atmosphere. Rafe just stares at her, giving her the look of someone who was forced here. Serena, just pretend like it's a mission. Rafe's lips curved almost a smirk. My mission is keeping you alive. After finding out Jenny Clones hasn't arrived yet, Serena's mood change. Rafe tries to convince her to play some game with him before her. Fave arrives, but she refuses, talking about how she's not a child. Rafe, how can you say you like Jenny and you didn't participate in his event? Serena, oh my god, you have a point. What if he asked which game I won when I meet him? Rafe thinking, he. Jenny is a he. Just as he was about to ask, Serena already accepted the challenge to win all the game and take prizes, and boast to her fave about it, which will show how much a devoted fan she is, and took his event seriously. She pushed Rafe forward. They passed a booth where couples tried a balance game, walking across a low beam, side by side while holding hands. The goal was to win and not fall off before reaching the end. Serena's eyes sparkled mischievously. No, Rafe said before she even opened her mouth. This is not what I mean about having fun. Yes, Serena countered instantly, dragging him forward. It's simple, you walk. You don't fall. We have to win no matter what. He exhaled through his nose, but she was already dragging him up. As expected, she wobbled on her first step. Rafe caught her before she slipped off, holding her steady with effortless strength. She smiles and continued. See? I knew you'd save me. Let's go, she teased. He grunted but didn't let go. His hand lingered, steadying her even when she stood firm. By the time they reached the end, Serena was laughing bright, carefree, the sound wrapping around him in a way he couldn't push away. After a whole day of letting Serena win at every game so he can see her happy, even though she called him slow. Then later she forced Rafe to play different games. Shoot and win a teddy bear, claw machine and ring game, which he did perfectly. The workers had to chase them away before they win all the prizes. Later, Rafe carries her bag and the gift prizes to the car, and Serena walks beside him holding her toys like a trophy and licking ice cream, while she talks about how she needs to change her outfit because there's dirt all over and she can't wear it to take pictures. Rafe put the thing in the car as Serena changed. Minutes later, she finally sees him. Her fave, Jenny Clones. After Rafe sees him, he finally let the thought go of losing her to her fave out of his head. There, he's here. She pointed toward the celebrity everyone was crowding around. Rafe raised her brow. You dragged me here for that. I need a picture and an autograph, she said defensively. He looks at her with a grim expression. She holds his hand and pulls him. Let's go. And make sure the picture comes out well too. Okay? He didn't answer. He was looking at the way she laughs, though he hasn't seen her laugh this much in one day, and she talked to him more since they came here. No friend, no family, nobody, just them, and they grew closer. Then the thought came to him. When everything is over, what'll happen next? He thinks to himself. Guess I will hold on to this moment now. Then held her hand tighter, smiling. Stay close. As the sun set, Serena sat beside the beach with a sad expression. She didn't get to take picture with her fave, because she didn't buy the tickets and just knew about the event yesterday. So the tickets were sold out. Rafe trying to comfort. You don't have to be sad because of that. Serena, I can't believe I wasted the whole day. I should have listened to you and stayed indoor. Rafe, don't say that, we did have fun. Serena, smiling softly. Kinda, when you won in every game. At least I got a lot of gift. Then her mood shift. That worth nothing. I really wanted a picture or an autograph. Rafe, are you saying it because you want to post on your new account? Or he's really your role model? Serena, no, he's really my fave. Whatever, it doesn't matter now. Rafe, as he brings out a paper from his pocket. Here, his autograph. Serena with a shocked expression. How did you... When did you get this? Rafe, let's just say I stole it. She smiles. Thank you, Rafe. Then he blushed, seeing her smile at him and calling his name. You really hate this, don't you? I know I forced you into this, she said, breaking the silence. I hate the crowd. I don't hate being here. I had fun. She glanced at him. His gaze was fixed on her, unflinching. Her pulse stuttered. He leans closer, lowering his voice. You think I don't want to be here? But you're wrong. Anywhere you are, I'd go. As long as you're there. Her breath caught. She blurted the question before she could stop herself. Rafe, do you like me? He froze for the first time, lips parting. His eyes softened, as though he might finally give away what he'd been hiding. Serena? The voice cut through the moment. Serena's chest tightened. Slowly, she turned and saw him. Her ex-boyfriend stood just a few steps away, his expression torn between shock and disbelief. His gaze shifted from her to Rafe's protective stance beside her. Rafe's jaw tightened. The warmth in his eyes vanished, replaced by the cold, calculating sharpness Serena had seen only in dangerous moments. And just like that, the fragile, romantic air between them shattered.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on your notification to know when I upload the next chapter.